All right.
All right. So there we go. So we're calling this the DMS takeover, right? To keep it super simple. What I want to do, or what we're hoping to do, is really help all of us dealers kind of understand the DMS stuff at the simplest level that we need to understand, just to be able to either A, make a sale, or B, set an appointment with our DMS team. This is a very technical aspect of what we do. And, truth be told, we can get into it and it could seem a little overwhelming. It's like, here's all these technical things that I might not understand. So how am I going to sell this, right? How am I going to sell this? And I want to remove that stigma a little bit and just kind of put us in a position of just, if we can understand these very few things, if we can just understand these very, very few things, we can get people interested enough to come to the table. We can get people interested enough to at least get to that webinar. And then through that, we can learn more and more just by listening on these webinars. I think, anybody that's selling this very well, that's probably been the number one way that they have become educated. But how did we get to that point is what we're going to kind of explore today. And I've got Sean, who has been gracious enough to join us on the call. So everybody knows Sean. If not, Sean, if you want to give yourself a quick intro for those, two people out there that might not know yet.
I'm hoping they know me by now. Jeez, what do I got to do? So I'm Sean Givens. I'm the director of DMS here for NTV 360/Encompass.
There we go. He is the brains behind what we do, I guess. So here we go. Give me a moment. My computer is really wanting to go slow here. Okay, so we're going to lay the foundation first, and we're gonna kind of look at the back end here, and we're going to look at our own team. So we're gonna talk to Sean a little bit here and understand that if we're talking about experts versus most of us dealers, I know there's a few of you dealers out there that understand this very, very well. You really do. But for a lot of us, that hasn't been our background. That hasn't been our career. That hasn't been something that we found success in, was in the digital marketing space, right? We've come from different levels of education and different levels of knowledge and things like that. But if you can talk to us a little bit about our team and about the expertise that they're bringing to the table, where this is really important is, hopefully a lot of us will see, sometimes that's what we're selling, is the strength of the team that we have. We don't always have to be the experts. We have a team of experts. So Sean, can you tell us a little bit about the key strengths that our team does bring?
Sure. So we live and breathe DMS. It takes up vast majority of our lives is kind of sitting here and talking to you guys and running these campaigns. And so through all of that, like Google products, they have an entire certification program that we have kind of gone through and made sure that we understand the in and outs and how to maximize anyone's budget through their programs. Same thing with Meta. They all have these certification programs, and that's just the base level. Obviously colleges and all that fun stuff, but the real, meat and bones on these is playing around in their systems, speaking with their representatives, listening to the courses that we've taken, making sure that we understand everything down to a granular level, because I never want to have one of you guys reach out to us and we don't know how to help. We even have podcasts and everything in between. So, even if when I'm driving to work or I'm going home from work, it's still more DMS of how we can make sure that we're maximizing our knowledge and continuing to learn so that we can help you guys better understand how to not only maximize your budget, but also different ways that you can talk about it, different metaphors, different concepts. Sometimes all it is just that aha moment of being able to connect a metaphor along with how it actually functions, because most of the time when you get into these things, you don't have to know the keywords and how it breaks down into negative keywords and exact max and broad match and all these things. You just need to be able to talk about what the results they're going to be able to see and how they can move the needle a little bit for that business, how we can help get more and more clients in their doors, and making sure that we're connecting the right product with the right need. And that just takes a little bit of understanding to understand what the purpose of it is. And that's all it comes down to, is what is the purpose of what this product does, and
Right.
does it fit with my client? And
Right.
so we are constantly learning to try to figure that out for you guys.
And those things become key too, because I know I can personally have conversations with you. I think we may have spoken about websites 2 or 3 times in the last week, and every conversation you've said something with a technical analysis of and I've been impressed. I'm like, oh my god, that sounds great. And truth be told, I got so much going on. I hang up the phone, and in 5 minutes, I couldn't turn around and tell you what you just said, or remember what you. But yet, I can understand the concepts behind what you say when you spoke in those metaphors and things like that. But more importantly, about our team, so for us dealers, when we're out there, if we're in that moment of conversation about the team, we've got a lot of things instead of just, I oftentimes refer to our team as geniuses and prodigies and things like this. But to be able to back it up with saying, the years of education and continuing certifications, direct access to companies like Google and things like this. These are things that get people to believe in us, to where I don't really have to sell the service. I don't have to make that sale. I have to sell the team at times, and then we'll obviously discuss, deeper into this conversation, what are those things that we do need to say about the services? But a lot of times just bringing a lot of belief behind our team helps quite a bit. So how can our dealers participate in selling DMS if they aren't experts?
Sure. So the best part about our organization, and we say this all the time, is that you don't have to be that expert, as you just went over. Being able to participate is just as easy as having conversations with people in your local community and getting their interest driven into talking with Mark. So we've got sales decks that are involved. We've got everything. We're getting ready to upgrade our knowledge base with like a training academy that will allow everyone to be able to watch things at their own pace so that you can kind of reach out to us with any questions as well. But to get started, it's just as simple as going out there and having some conversations. A couple of the things that we've made for you guys for some visual aid as well, just piquing their interest a little bit, asking questions, just coming in there and saying, hey, what have you tried in the past? What's your goals? How can we help get there? And then just getting them interested enough to be able to meet with Mark and say, listen, we'll give you a free consultation that we can take a look together at what you're doing and how we can reach your goals for 2024, 2025, and beyond.
Right. Yeah. So and that's what I love about what we do. It's like, give me as many crutches and training wheels and all this as much as you can, right? Wrap me in bubble wrap if you have to. I don't care, as long as it's effective training wheels, effective crutches. It's like I said, I was one of the last people of my generation to get Facebook, and I don't um, I
Well,
all I know
sometimes
about Google what everybody knows about Google. It's like it just rules the world. What else is
Sometimes I just call Lisa Weiss and I just say, hey, how do I get these people interested?
right, right, right. All right. What learning resources are available for us dealers if we want to learn more over time? Because
Sure.
well, and before you answer that, we've made an investment in this business, right?
Yeah.
There's no way, I have enough time to get as educated as y'all. Like, it's going to take me a very, very long time to do that. But I need to sell today. I need to sell today before I have that chance to become this educated. So
Mhm.
during that time, I want to get better. What can I do during that time?
Sure. So, for us, the knowledge base is always going to be key. We have created training decks. We've created different sort of abilities for you to go in there and start learning the face value of everything. We're getting ready to upgrade that again. So we're going to go in and create recordings for all of those so you can listen to a voice tell you about those training decks and give you a little bit more insight so you can watch those at your own pace. There's also going to be examples of everything from the ads to the reporting to everything in between. And so we've given you a pretty solid base, and we're continuing to build upon that every day on learning what's going on. But one of the best ways is always going to be practical knowledge. And so getting that appointment set, Mark is a phenomenal resource to learn from as he's selling it as well. I think I talked to, once again, Lisa, we just talked so much, and she's talked about how some of the best learning examples that she had wasn't so much as trying to read about these things as much as it just watching Mark try to sell it for you. And it's a double whammy. You get money out of the deal and you get to learn at the same time. So it's really nice to see how he presents it. Same thing with us, the report calls. Once you do get a client, you'll start to sit on these report calls with us as we walk through and build value with your client. So we're going through and showing everything that we've done, what is beyond their reach because they don't have access to the same software and the same analytics, the same things that they would not be able to do on their own. And so through both the beginning and the end, there are processes where you can just follow along with us as we're building that value with your client. And you're going to hear amazing sayings or different touch points that you can kind of reach out to and say, oh, I didn't realize that you guys locked out malicious edits for a GBP page to protect you from XYZ. And that's something that you can build into your pitch the next time.
Yeah, and I'll second what Lisa says too. That's exactly how I learned. Just being able to get them to that webinar, knowing just enough to be dangerous, right? Just to get them to the webinar. And since then, again, y'all hear me. I'm not, kind of making up my situation here. It's like, I don't understand the digital stuff. It's like at that level. I get it, but I don't get it at that level. But yet here in my community, just because of the things I've been able to hear in these webinars over and over again with Mark, I actually have people in my networking circles that lean on me for advice about Google, and I'm looked at as this expert and all this, and I laugh inside. I'm like, this is amazing that y'all see, if you only knew, right? I've done presentations in front of 100 other business owners teaching them about Google while still at the same time just like, wow, this is amazing that y'all like like how little do y'all know if you got me up here in front of you, right? Yeah, so it's a
That's the
great
best
learning
part
tool.
about a lot of these services as well is most people don't know. So to be an expert, you just need about 5% more knowledge than they
Yep,
have because they know about running their business. They know about the sales aspect. They know about, building a golf cart or whatever it is that they're are proficient at, and they don't need to be proficient in everything. So when you come in there, just that baseline knowledge a lot of the times will get you enough into the door to be able to set that appointment because they're not researching these things in
right,
their spare time. They don't even know they exist half the time. A geofencing sounds amazing because they're just like, what do you mean there's a fence in the sky on an imaginary
right.
map? It's like
Yeah,
it's
some people
magic.
think it's the thing that keeps your dog in the yard that you can't see, the invisible fence, right? It's not that. All right, so what's the best mindset for the dealers to have about DMS? Because mindset is everything. If you have the right mindset, you will sell.
Sure. I mean, so the best mindset to be having about DMS, and it's what I love about it so much, is that the effect that it's having on their business. You have something that can help them. You know that the thing that you have could be that missing link. And gosh, I wish I didn't just talk to Lisa because she just keeps coming to mind every time I want to do this. But she just called me to talk about the SEM campaign, how her client has called for 2 days in a row telling her about how they've gotten new business in and that they're making an actual change in their life and in their business because of what we have. So if you know you have the golden ticket, why would you be scared to go in and talk to these people? You know that you can help them. You know
Right.
that you can do something positive for them. And so you just have that confidence of coming in there and just saying, hey, I know that I can do something positive for you. If you can just give me a few minutes of your time, we can figure out how to make this year better than last year.
Well, you nailed the key word there. It's confidence. It's confidence.
Yeah.
Like we've done enough now from the Encompass level that should give everybody confidence in the results, right? Like we're starting to get to that point where the results are phenomenal with some of the stuff we do. Like the thing y'all did with the Google ads, getting that one of someone's clients ad spend like down to the floor basically, and
Yeah.
6 times the results or whatever it was, right? I mean,
Yeah.
these are
It's fun.
amazing things that we should all carry that confidence, and confidence wins half the sale. It really does. I mean, if you believe in what you're talking about, if you believe in what you're doing, the other person can. But if you don't have that confidence, it's like, man, if you're not confident in your own stuff, why am I going to give you my money, right? It's like, I'm not here just to pay your bill, buddy. All right, so now we want to get into actually having that conversation. What's it going to take to, at the very least, just get that webinar set? Because Mark will, y'all hear us talk about Mark will razzle dazzle them. He's got a nice, clean, even keel delivery, very matter of fact on stuff, just wows people with all that. And all you got to do then is just know how to close, right? So how do we get them there? First of all, so what gets people to believe in us enough to come to a webinar and hear more? So that, I'm out there pitching, I'm out there, talking to people. What are these little trigger points that the prospects are hearing that makes them go, maybe I do want to trust you with my business. I'll definitely I'll listen more.
Yeah, and so I think that it gets easier and easier with time. It's always tough at the beginning, so I never want people to get discouraged as they're kind of on this journey, because the very beginning of it is a little bit harder. You don't have as many examples, which is why we're currently uploading the examples of all of these things in the knowledge base for you guys to use out in the field. So just as you were talking a second ago, that was turned into a case study that we're sharing with everyone, so that they have materials to go out there and say, we can get you the results that you're looking for, and I have the proof in the pudding right here to show you. And so that's a really cool, helpful part of it, is that you're not only coming in confident, you're not only coming in ready to go ahead and talk to them about what you do best and that no one else can match you possibly in the world, but now I've got statistics to back it up. So that's a huge portion of what we're going to be upgrading in the knowledge base, and what we're releasing to everyone is more and more assets for you guys to be able to show that you can not only provide them with results, but you've done it in the past with other people. I know people that have built websites, and the first thing they do with that beautiful website that they just finished is they go around town talking to everybody else saying, hey, you know this person in this area. Look at this website we built for them, and giving them examples of the work that you've done in the past. Same thing with when you start getting these report calls and these reports that we pull through. They're phenomenal places for you to be able to go into other businesses and say, hey, look, I have this GBP where it went up by 125% after we took over. These are things that trigger in people's minds to not only say this person knows what they're talking about, but they can give me results.
Well, and a lot of times too, I mean, we've touched on this, and the reason things like this are important. We haven't even gotten to the conversation yet, but most of the time, sales is like 90% of what happens before the conversation even starts, right? Are we talking to the right people? Or are we in the right? Did we shower today? I mean, every little thing, right? But a lot of times, like we've touched on a couple times just in this conversation, the core people that we're talking about are small business owners. 80% of the people that we're going to deal with, they're mechanics or cooks or restaurateurs, or they own mail shipping places. Whatever. They're not marketing people. So they may even act like it, right? We've all talked to people who are experts in what we do. That's the nature of the beast, right? We talk to a lot of people who all of a sudden they're marketing experts. But even within that, a lot of people are going to tell you what they think they want. What they think they want. But what they really want is the result of
Yeah.
what they're saying, or what they think they're saying.
Well, that's a
And
really
sometimes,
important question.
yeah, right. Well, it's like, that's why sometimes even come to these webinars, like they may tell you, I want to do all this stuff with social media. And we may get them to this and be like, if you want this to happen, social media is not your way. It's not, because it's hearing not what they're saying all the time, but it's hearing what they're really saying. And what they're really saying is, I want this result to happen. This is what I'm looking for. I need
And
more people walking in my door. And they
and that
might,
can be tough sometimes, Ron, to have someone tell you that you've got a sale almost made, and you almost have to look at them and say, actually, this is what you need. I'm listening to you. I'm asking these questions. And some of my favorite questions are just, how do you get your customers now? What are your goals? How can I help you get to those goals? But as you're sitting here going through these questions and finding out what they currently do and what they expect their definition of success to be, you're going to hear these triggers of just realizing that, oh, you're trying this, but I know from these
right,
webinars and from the training and all these things that this would actually serve you better in the long run. And that's when you become a consultant. That's when you're no longer trying to sell them something. That's when you're there to actually help educate them, to help them get to that next level. And then we can help you with that as well. As long as you can get them in there and get them signed up for these things, we can help teach them how to not only get the benefits, but also optimized how we can continue those benefits to grow in the future. I mean, there's very simple things where you can be social media management, and all we're doing is talking about that. And now we're consulting them on how we can start capturing emails through those, how we can turn those email lists into more successful things, even outside of the products that we offer, to continue to
right,
drive up the value of working with us.
right. Yeah. Well, and just to touch on, um, one thing you said there, as far as, walking away. So sometimes it's hard to walk away from a guaranteed deal. Um, just for all of us, it's penny wise and dollar foolish, right? It might be fun to grab that money right now, cool, but we are very integrated in our communities. And what happens if we sold that person the wrong thing? And just because we wanted the money today, right? What's the effect of that person out there running their mouth saying this guy just took my money, and got me nothing, right? So I sometimes it's hard to walk away from the money, but it's much smarter for your long-term investment to just do the right thing for people. All right, but the kind of the whole thing to all this is to keep it simple, to keep the understanding simple. What people ultimately want is results. So you just have to, like Sean's saying, ask some questions, get them to open up, but understand at the simplest level, people just want results, and they want you to be confident that you can get those results. That's not too hard to have a conversation about. How we get there, the details, the technicalities of it. Like I said, all of us here are Henry Ford. Henry Ford didn't build the car. He had a great team. He couldn't tell you how the car was built. He had people that could tell you how the car was built. That's what we have. We don't have to be Sean or Ariel or anybody else on our DMS team. We're Henry Ford. We have a great team behind us. That's what we built. Come talk to them. So,
and then let me know if you guys want to let me borrow some money if we're talking about Henry Fords out here.
Right. Henry Ford the 13th. I didn't get anything. Hey. So how do we find out what people want? Well, actually, before we do that, Lisa, you've raised your hand, so what's up?
Touching on what you were just talking about as far as selling them the right product, I actually just had a conversation with Sean regarding that, because there's a client that the one that's called me the past 2 days. The first call was to say that they were Googling themselves and they weren't coming up. And I had no idea how to answer that, to respond to it, because I don't understand it enough. So I just said, let me check with Tyler and find out what's going on and see where we're at with the campaign. So I called Tyler and he told me, I don't know if Tyler's ever explained anything to y'all, but he's like way above my pay grade. When he got done, I said, all righty then, Tyler. There's no way I can explain that to her like you just explained it to me, but I'll just set up a call. And but I got enough out of it to go back to her and say, every search is a new algorithm and we're bidding on those spots. We're going up against companies like signs.com and who have a $50,000 a month budget. And that was, satisfied what she said. But then he gave me some information currently on the campaign. This is 2 days in. One was custom sports banners. She said, custom sports banners. I literally just had a call. So today's call, right before I called Sean, she called and she said, we just got the first call from Pensacola, which is 90 miles away.
Nice.
Well, no, not even a call. They filled out the information on the website. She said, and it's got to be from what y'all are doing. So, and I went from not knowing anything. We're still doing the call. But again, learn just enough. I've never not been able to get answers from Sean, from Ariel, from Francesca, from Tyler. They're there. You can learn it enough just to satisfy your client. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm not positive, but let me find out for sure and I'll get back to you.
Right. Be genuine about who you are. Don't
Yes.
feel like you have to play a role all of a sudden because we sell DMS stuff. You didn't invest in a business to become an actor or an actress. It's like, that's not your role. You are you. You are a business owner, with a great team.
I've been on a call with Sean, a Zoom call for Sean to teach me how to do Dropbox. That's how computer illiterate I am.
Oh, I know. You and I have had multiple conversations about this. It's a like funny thing for us because it's like, can you imagine how many GBPs I have sold? Like, I don't get it. It's like things like that. It's like, so yeah, you don't have, and that's the whole point of this whole conversation today. You don't have to know much. you really don't have to know much. These are the things you need to know. You need to
As
know.
Lisa says, we're always happy to help on those things. I mean, even
Right.
stuff that goes outside of the scope, just any way that we can help to make sure that you guys are running the business as efficiently as you can. And it's funny because I literally thought of Lisa's story and I just didn't want to call on her for a third time in the middle of the conversation.
All right, so I'm going to answer this one first, and then if you want to interject after, please do. So how do we find out what they want? From my perspective, it's as easy as just asking. It's just asking. It's much like we were just talking about, right? Just ask them what they're looking for. Ask them what the results of, what's the goals, what's the results, of your marketing, and be direct. It can be a very direct, hey, what are you doing for your marketing? What are you trying to achieve? And they'll tell you, and they're not gonna, shoo you away or anything like that. You don't have to be salesy about it. You don't have to know, 5 million techniques. You have to know how to ask a simple question. And the question is directly what you want to know. What are you trying to achieve, right? So do you have anything on that, Sean?
Of course, it's
Sean
funny
and I
because
will
you
never
get
have
so
a problem
nervous.
speaking.
Yeah, you get so nervous sometimes talking to some of these people, and you don't always get the best attitudes, right? Business owners are busy. They're constantly trying to keep up with what's going on in their day-to-day life, and so it can be a little nerve-wracking, right? But even better, they don't want you to waste their time dancing around while you're there. They don't want you to sit there and just kind of like, oh, you can ask about your day, be polite, but if you sat there for 30 minutes and you haven't asked them what's going on, they're going to get upset, so
Right.
you got to have that courage. You got to just say, hey, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'd like to help. And I'd love to be able to learn some more about you. And then just have a couple of questions that are your go-to questions that get a little bit, the probing questions that just get you a little more information at a time.
And that's right there. That's what I mean by listen closely, right? It's just like we said. They may tell you, I really want to do social media. Why? Why do you think social media is the path, right? What are you hoping to get from your social media account? Well, I think people are going to do this, this, and this, and this. And it's like, hey, that sounds great, man. We can help you with that. That's my response, no matter what they say, right? Like I want to do this, I want to do that. Don't worry about it. Whatever it is, that's amazing, that's fantastic. You're wanting this type of result. We can help you with that. And it's that simple. It's we can help you with that. And being confident in saying that. And then, like any good entrepreneur, you say yes, and then you go figure it out later,
Then
right?
you go figure it out.
But here's the cool thing for us dealers, and the not so cool thing for you. Well, I mean, it's cool for you guys. Like we can say yes, and then you got to figure it out.
I was gonna say thank you. We
Right.
appreciate that.
Right. We
but-
just get you to the webinar, and y'all come up with the strategy. Y'all come up with the plan. Y'all are the geniuses. Y'all are the experts. We want to be the expert business people, the expert sales people. Y'all be the expert people on the DMS stuff, and it's a beautiful marriage, man. And nobody has to,
There's nothing I love more than a good puzzle. So just keep them coming.
Right. So, again, here's the key questions. And these questions are, there's only 2 here, but it's the opening of the conversation. What are you doing for your marketing, and what are the goals or results you're looking to achieve? From here, from this moment, my best advice, because every conversation is unique, every conversation is different, everybody's plan is a little bit different. From here, my best advice for you is get curious. That's all you got to do. Get curious about what they say. Well, right now we're doing some social media, and we advertise in the coupon book that goes out once a month. Okay, well, how is that working for you? What? And if you want to, how much are they charging you to do that? What size ad are you doing in the coupon book? What are you looking for on your social media? Is it conversion? Is it likes? Is it engagement? These things. And these are simple questions. You don't have to be an expert in all this stuff, because you're not building a plan. You're just I'm just probing for information that I can file away. I can put this here, I can put this here, I can put this here, and then I can look you straight in the face and say, man, we can help you with that. Or let me help you with that. Here's what I suggest. Let's get you on a webinar with our team. Let's go over all this. Let's see exactly what we can do for you guys. And I think that we're going to get you much better results than what you're looking for here.
I think one of my favorite things to find out is what's worked for them well in the past and what hasn't.
Right.
So that I don't end up pitching them the thing that they already have tried. And then you have to that extra hill to climb of being like, oh, well, that wasn't me. That was someone else that you tried. We're much better at that. And just being able to tailor what your sales are, already knowing what their experiences are coming in the past.
And here's the, I mean, it's all, to me, the world is numbers and psychology, right? There's the technical aspect of everything, and then there's what makes the brain, click to make those things happen. So the psychological aspect that's happening to this person that you're sitting across from, sometimes, we're oftentimes counterintuitive in how we feel when we're selling. We think the things that are awkward are actually the things that are helping us. So probing for these questions, we want to sound like an expert. This is how you sound like an expert. You don't have to turn around and give answers. You have to ask questions and sit back and listen to what they're saying. And then if I listen to all this and then I turn to you and I say, man, we can absolutely help you with that. Boom, I'm the expert. I didn't say a technical thing to the whole conversation. I might have, because of, I'm expecting Lisa to kind of laugh about this because we talked about this. I might, at this point, because I've done so many webinars, be able to say things like algorithm. It's a big word, right? Yeah, that makes me sound smart. or the one I just learned about finally, the robot.txt file on a website and what it does. I sound like a genius now, right? Compared to most people I'm going to talk to. So if I can say that thing, cool, I'm good because we can help you. Now I'm the expert. That's what we're looking for.
Well, and just like with Christina Fisher at Fishco, she doesn't understand it at all, not at all. So, and going to one of the chat comments, I think it was Rachel said, she's absolutely right. The more simpler you can make it for your clients that don't know, the better. If you start getting technical with some people, you're going to lose them. And again, what you said with sell them the right product, I actually went there to discuss geo and display with Fishco, and I actually called Sean and had a conversation. I just said, I feel like in this instance, what they need is SEM, even though I'm not going to make as much money on
Right.
it. So that's where your bundling comes in to play,
Yep.
because you need to sell them the right product that's going to get the results that they're looking for, which is they want their phone to ring and they want the quote request filled out on their website.
Yeah, and I want a client, not a customer. I want them to tell me when they're going to have a baby. I want them to to talk about I want to be that close to them because we've been, in this business relationship for years. That's what I'm looking for. I want that long-term money. And I promise all of you, we are getting to the conversation. There's a few simple things that you just need to understand before we get there, right? So the next thing before we get there is understanding the basics. Just understand the basics of what we do. A few months ago, or a few weeks ago, I don't know, time just all crushes together here. Quinn and I were actually on a webinar, and she showed me the early rough draft of this funnel. And for a guy like me, everything clicked. Everything absolutely clicked. It was this visual image of seeing this funnel that got me to just took me to a whole nother level of understanding of what we sell, right? Okay, boom, here's the journey. This becomes my story. If I get in that moment where I have to tell a story in the field, I can tell a story with this stuff. So just understanding that these products, display and geofencing, CTV, social media management, streaming audio, YouTube, indoor billboards, these are about awareness and branding. The simplest level of awareness and branding is just you're getting seen by lots of people over and over and over again, so they'll start remembering you. And you want to be remembered when they need you. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Okay, so if that aligns with someone's goals that they're looking for, like I heard what you said, but I really listened to what was said, right? So if I hear what your goals are, I need more people seeing us on Facebook. Or I need more people just seeing us, right? Okay, well, maybe that's a social media thing. Maybe that's a CTV thing. I need more people aware that we exist. I can connect some dots. and I can mention a thing or two to make myself sound like an expert, just enough to get you to the webinar. Engagement and consideration. So I need people checking us out. I need people, coming to my page to see what we have to sell or whatever. It's gonna be your advertising, your pay-per-click, your pre-roll videos. This is the stuff that gets people to go, oh, but wait, there's more. I want to know more. So let me take an action on this to go a little further and find out for myself. So that's where these products become very, very good. So does that, got you ahead of the, forget what you just saw. So that's where you just have to understand. And again, all I have to do is get curious, ask those 2 questions, get you talking, respond to whatever you say in those 2 questions, ask some more until I can finally peel back the layers of the onion to find out, boom, this is what you really want. And if I understand what you really want, I can bring this up in front of your face and go, you need to do this because of this. You need to do this because of this, but don't take my advice. Let's go talk to the smart people. And that's boom. And then I bring up the webinar or the knowledge base with all the choices of the webinar. And I can literally just ask you, which one are you going to be available for? Not, can you do it? Like there's a high level of interest here. We need to filter that out. And I need to little asterisk on this. Make sure it's a high level of interest with these people, not just every Tom, Dick, and Harry gets a webinar, right? But if there's that level of interest, I'm just going to tell you, like, we can do it on Thursday, we can do it on Friday. We have 1 o'clock, we have 3 o'clock here. Which one can you do? If they can't do it, they'll let you know. And then you just go to the next week and find it. But it can be that simple. Get curious, ask the questions, get curious, hear what they say, find out what they want, show them this, understand these 3 things. This is what you really need to understand. Awareness, engagement, conversion. This is, I need to, end up with a $sign at the end of my, whatever they're doing, right? This is, I need them to interact with me. This is, I need them to just know I exist. So what are they looking for? And then we can walk them through. Sean, you have anything you want to throw in?
That was a great way to describe that. Yeah, I think it was a great way to describe it of exactly what it does, and making sure that you understand what that client's looking for. Came back to those questions that we were just going over, and then now you have an understanding of what products fit with what they're looking for. So I think it was a great description.
And it was. I think I did a fantastic job. All right. So now I am a big fan of analogies. A super big fan of analogies. I think this, to me, at least with my style, this is how I get people to understand what we do. This is how I understand what we do. I think there's a number of us on this call that have heard my analogy about the Google business profile, where Google, like, I'm gonna make it simple for you to understand. I've done an entire presentation in front of hundreds of business owners about this exact thing. Google is not this philanthropic company that just, I'm gonna get you, out there in front of it. No. Google's a data company. So they're the beast. They're this big, nasty, hungry beast that's always hungry. And we're just going to feed the beast, right? And the beast is going to like us because we feed the beast. That's personifying this to make it relatable. When I did the presentation, I had a picture of a person, kind of sideways. They have a little kitten right there. They're all cuddled up. And I'm like, this is who we think Google is. And then the next slide, a big, angry, gnarly lion's face, just saliva dripping out of its mouth. Looks like it wants to eat like 7 gazelles right now. That's the big, hungry, that's who Google truly is. And that image right there, that understanding right there, all the lights in the room came on as far as in people's heads. I saw people who had no clue about marketing, like, oh, I get it. And then we were able to go into it and use that analogy through the whole presentation. And people just caught it like this because it's common level thinking for common level people as far as digital marketing goes. So I will let you have the floor on your house, See what I did there? All right, so there we go. There's your floor.
Yeah, love a good analogy. Obviously, we are a storytelling species. It's how we've been able to communicate things throughout all of time. So being able to connect it with some sort of an idea is always very powerful. And what I wish Brian Cochran was on here. This idea came from kind of all of us chatting together and trying to figure out a good analogy for things. But as you look at the funnel, it's a slightly different analogy than the house, because when you're talking with small businesses or you're talking with any business, they need to understand how these products stack and how they work together. The most important thing to understand is what is going to be your foundation. If you're going to build a roof before you build the foundation, then you're never going to get anywhere. I can send as many clients your way as I can possibly handle, but if your website's horrible, it doesn't matter how many people see it. You're still going to convert absolutely no one. Same thing with your social media. If I'm sending people to your Facebook, your Instagram, I'm getting all this stuff going on and they look at it and it just like looks sloppy and it's not taken care of, nobody's responding, no one's going through anything, then once again, you're not converting anything. GBP, once again, I can go and get all the attention in the world on your screens, and you can sit here and use these screens and get people to talk about you all day long. Then they go to look you up on Google, they can't find you. There you go. Now it's completely wasted effort. So you have to have your foundation set up for these businesses. And this is the best place to start with small businesses. When you're talking with people who don't have large budgets, they're just starting on their journey of marketing with you. You need to start looking through the basics of saying, well, can people find you on Google? What does your social media look like? Is it engaging? As we get older and older, and the shopping demographics start to get a little bit older and older, and they grew up in this time with social media and phones in their hands all the time. People are using social media more and more to research companies and to research anything. It's starting to turn into a search engine of its own, and that's one of the big things. That's why you can search through any of these social media platforms to try to find content, because they want to compete with Google, they want to compete with these other people, and some younger people find it easier to find out more information about your business by simply going to your social media and seeing visually what it is that you're doing. Same thing with the website. It's going to be a core component of any marketing strategy that we do. So if you're, once again, as we were just saying earlier, it's hard to turn down money, and I get it. We've all got bills, we've all got the same stressors. But if someone looks at you and they start talking about geofencing and display because it was really cool and they like the idea, pump the brakes a little bit and let's say, how can we make that campaign even more successful for you? Well, we can do that by directing them to a website that's going to look and feel modern and exciting and help you to convert. So we're going to go ahead and say, instead of you giving me that money right now for geofencing, let's go ahead and put that towards the website. Let's build you a website out. Let's get you a really good place to direct this traffic to, and then we can attack the next steps of this campaign, which will probably be the next part of this house as we click through this as well.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because Sean actually helped me out with a client that I had earlier, where just through little by little understanding this stuff, I had a conversation with her about that exact same thing. She's wanting some geofencing. Just she works the field and goes to different doctors, places, trying to get referrals for their assisted living facility. So geofencing those locations that's in her route, so they're constantly seeing her afterwards. And then we looked at her website, and then I lean on Sean, and I'm like, Sean, help me, because I can tell her it looks like, and I won't say what I thought it looked like on this recording, but let's just say it doesn't come out the pleasant end of a dog, right? So how do I turn around and say that? But it was with that same intent of like, we've got to fix the pile of what before we can go, walking the pretty dog, so to speak.
Then I had to go give you a fancified list for you to go talk with.
Right. Which was a total copy and paste, and I'll put that in there and make me sound smart. So thanks for that. But I love where you're going with this, because I use this analogy a lot of building the house, because the way a house is built, you don't just show up with random stuff and just start throwing stuff together. If I want like an amazing pergolas and all this stuff, I can't build that if there's nothing to attach it to. If there's no wall, if there's no foundation. So these are, everybody builds a home with blueprints. There's a plan, and then you execute that plan that's laid out step by step by step. And if you do it, that's what gets you what you're
And
looking
a great thing as well that you'll probably run out into the field is there's a lot of people that are obsessed with that word ROI. They heard about it in college or an article one time, and now it's the only way they judge anything through life.
for.
So you look at it, and they're going to say on these foundational products, what's my ROI? You know, what's my ROI on a GBP? What's my ROI on a social media? What's my ROI on a website? Well, you need to look at it as how many customers have you missed out on by not having the foundation? There's people probably looking for you right now and you don't have your foundation set up. So you can talk about ROI on a lot of these products, but you're not even in the game. You're not even
Right.
playing yet. You don't have a foundation. There is no ROI for you at all because no one even knows you exist. We need to get you to play the game, and then I'll give you all these products that'll give you ROIs all day long. But until that foundation is set up, there's nothing to really talk about for ROI because you're not even playing.
That's a great moment to just whip out their competitor's website and show it to them, or
Yeah.
whatever, is the thing you're talking about. It's like, well, look at yours and look at theirs. What would
Yeah.
you choose?
And another thing to bring up in the foundation that's really important is the foundation's permanent. It's something that is forever. These should be the stickiest products that you have. Obviously, the website, you want to bundle into other things to continue that revenue, but social media management, GBP, this is just a necessity for your business. It should never be turned off. It is the foundation. And then the rest of these products are things that you run through campaigns. You know, you're trying to get awareness for certain things. You're trying to get more traffic. There's certain months that of the year they're going to make more sense than others. I know a lot of y'all live in areas that are vacation hubs and different areas like that. Well, even when you're not in those hot months, you should still be building your foundation. Everything else comes and goes. The
Right.
foundation is permanent with you.
Well, it sounds like the next level of products here. It's like we've laid the foundation. Now these determine the results of what we're doing with that foundation, right?
Yes.
Is that foundation laid out for a single family home? Is it laid out for a commercial building? Is it laid out for a multifamily complex? Like, what's the result we're looking for? So that's where your next tier here, so to speak,
Yeah.
is
So
kind
that's
of
when we start getting into this pay-per-click, the social media advertising, things that are on that bottom level of your funnel. Now you've built out the base. Now let's go ahead and grab people in the moment in which they're looking to make purchases. Let's grab them and convert them into what we've just built. Social media advertising. Where is that going to send you? Well, it's going to send you a website. It's going to send you the social media page. Pay-per-click. Where is that going to send you? It's going to send you to either a phone call or it's going to send you to your website. So this is that next step that are very powerful tools. As Lisa was just speaking to pay-per-click a minute ago, running it for 3 days, she's already made 2 sales, but that's because they already had their kind of foundation in set. And even though they might not have social media advertising, as Lisa was talking to me a little bit earlier, that social media management is something that she can now talk to them about because she's earned their trust. And so these are things that you can continue to keep building out with them. Even if you go slightly out of order, don't get too wrapped up in it. Just know that you're going to need to attack these points as well if you want to continue that growth.
Right. And if anybody doesn't have is having a hard time understanding what Sean's saying, just watch his hands. They say everything.
It's the only way to get people engaged.
Right. They tell the whole story, man. All right. So now we've dressed it up. We know it is. Now we got to put a roof on it, man. Now we got to protect everything.
Now we get to have fun.
Yeah.
Now we get to go through with the big budgets and the play around, and we get to get in front of 100,000 impressions in a month. My website doesn't get 100,000 impressions unless I have some way of paying to play and get people to it. There's organic growth that comes from those foundations. This is going to be that pay to play model where now you're going out and you're bringing people's attention. You're getting that awareness and that branding because you've already built up the house. It can support the weight of all of what you're going to be bringing in now. And so this is where you start to get fun, and you start getting into audio commercials, you start getting in streaming, you start getting into display geo, because you have that foundation. It's going to multiply the success of that roof layer.
Right. So the roof is on fire. Raise the roof. That's where the fun is, right? Very cool. So that's a great analogy, man. So it's like, businesses, they've got to have this solid first. If they have this solid, they can come here and lay out kind of whatever they need for the results that they're looking for. If they don't have this, the results they're looking for won't get there. And then once we start to get them these ROI results, right? Like, the thing that everybody thinks about, then we can enhance all of that. We can, like you said, we can support the weight of what these stronger things are going to do, and which is really That's where you start, that's where you're at with the people who understand marketing is an investment and instead of that expense, right? There's a mind shift almost from the people who can do this to the people who can do this. The people who can and want to do this, they get it. Like marketing is an investment, and I'm going to invest, and I'm going to have a plan, and I'm going to lay it all out. But again, what do we have to do to keep it simple? I can help you with that. Come talk to my team. I can help you get that done. All right, so we're getting there. We're getting there. We're talking about moments of the conversation. I promise you, they're in there. They're little bullet points of your understanding, so it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be anything. It's DMS sales for dummies, right? And I'm the biggest dummy in the room. Help me sell, man. So it comes down sometimes to who we're talking to. 80% of our client base is probably going to be small to medium-sized businesses. This is our, the majority of people we're running into in the chambers and the people who are there when we can do our cold walk-ins and things like this. It's small to medium-sized businesses. And then the other side, the large businesses and the marketing teams. So we'll talk about both of these and where you need to be. First of all, your small businesses, your mom and pop shops, your host locations, your restaurants, your small retail shops, they may have a marketing budget of $500 to $1,000. Truth be told, some of these people are going to be in that situation of like, well, I've tried this and I've tried that and I've tried that. And first of all, they're telling you that they're triers, right? I don't like people who tell me they try stuff. I want people that tell me they do stuff. But that's who we're getting at this level. Your large businesses here could be medical, large real estate, lawyers, roofers, HVAC, education, car dealerships. Any of your big players in your community. It could be those larger local insurance brokers that have 5 or 6 reps that are wandering around in the chambers and stuff like this. These are the types of businesses that are going to have anywhere from $1,500 on up to $10,000 to spend on marketing each month. That's going to be a different conversation. So we'll start with the small to medium-sized businesses. First, you have to understand their needs and their budgets. If anybody's watched any of these shows on like HGTV, right, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go, find a home, and the realtor is gonna help me find a home, like House Hunters or whatever, and they start off and they say, well, tell me what your dream home is, right? And they list out like, I want a pool, I want 7 bedrooms, I want golden toilets, and I want showers that spit out wine, right? Like that's what I want from. And they take them to see the home, and they walk in and look at it like, this is amazing, you found my perfect home. And then they turn around and tell them this is a $7.2 million home, and they're like, well, crap, my budget's $450,000. Okay, so now we're going to inject some reality into your life, right? You can't have the shower with the wine. You can't have the golden toilet, right? You can't have these things, but what can you have? That's what you need to understand when you're dealing with small businesses. Sometimes they're going to have $100 budgets with $1 million expectations, right? You've got to really set the expectation of what you're selling first and foremost, But we need to probably, well, before I get to that, they're not going to be 300,000 impression geofencing campaigns. They're not going to be doing CTV and OTT, things like this. They're not going to probably be doing YouTube. They're not in that league. But we got to listen to what they want to achieve. And then we got to understand what they're really working with. Is this a 500 to 700? Because it sure as hell isn't a 3,500. So remember the funnel. Remember the funnel. This is all about you telling your story. I'm listening to you, understanding what you need, understanding where you're at. And then I can go right back to this funnel and start talking to you about things that can get you there. What we're probably going to settle on is much along the lines of what Sean's talking about, which would be this. How's that for a segue, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, it perfectly talks about what we were just discussing with the foundation and the home. Is they're typically going to fit with these 3 products. This is what's going to be essential to them. So even if they get excited about some of these other areas, as he was just saying, they're typically not going to be the person who, even if they can afford it, just if they can barely afford it, doesn't mean they can really afford it. Those people are going to be calling you every single day looking for why they're not getting the results they need to, because they jumped the gun. They went into the roof. Their home is sitting here teetering. It can't support the weight. It's getting ready to fall over. So we need to go ahead and get them into this website, get them into GBP, get them into their social media management, build that foundation out so that when they're ready and we've gotten into this area, we've grown their business with them, they're excited about the results, then we can turn the faucet on with these other products as well. So that goes back into this bundle that we discussed the other week. And this is going to be the bundle for small businesses. It's about that website to start with, and then it's about getting their GBP and social media up to par.
So you've given me some ammo right there in that conversation and this mindset, right? Like understanding this analogy about the house and now, you know, really cementing in this analogy about the foundation. And you know, these are things that this is the type of analogy that can relate to anybody. You know, anybody can understand a home and it means something to them. We all live in them, or most of us probably do. I can't speak for everyone, you know, but this is something that we can understand. But let's just say again, last thing I want to do as somebody who's running this business, and I am out in the community, I have to be aware of my reputation. I have to be aware because it's small town America, no matter where you're at, right? People know people and they're going to talk and this, that, and the other. So I don't want to sound like a dummy. That's my big fear, Sean. I don't want to sound like a dummy. I don't want somebody to go, but. So can you give me, just in case I get trapped, right? The way I want to sell this stuff is I want to pull up your Google business profile page. I want to pull up your social media and I want to pull up your website and I want to be able to go, hey man, you see this, this, and this? This is why you need me. So what can you tell me, just maybe 1 or 2 points on a GBP, 1 or 2 points on a social media, 1 or 2 points on a website that would empower me to just say, hey man, you needed this, but it's not there and I'm the one that can help you get it there.
Sure. So the websites are always going to be, what do you have that's capturing data? How are you turning this into a conversion model? You know, are we showing up and there's too much text? There's no way for anyone to sift through this to get to the goals that you want to have. Are there pop-ups that we've installed in there to make sure that we're capturing emails or we're giving offers for discounts to be able to give you the information that you're looking for? Because you can have a pretty website all day long, but if it's not built to scale, it's not built to be able to utilize, then you're just sitting in the water. I think the one that we looked at the other day, it was so bland and so like white. It just, there was no breaks. Your brain doesn't work on just a continuous sheet. It has to be broken up. It has
You
to
know,
look
the word you just
engaging.
said, said is very close to how I described when you said a sheet. That was similar to what I
Just a
thought it looked
sheet.
like.
No one can read that nowadays, and we know that, especially because people have been given what they want for so long online that you can't get them to read an article anymore. You got
Right.
to break it up for them in chunks. And so there's always healthy ways to look at all of those things. Same thing with your social media. You can go in there, you can look at their follower account, you can look at their engagement. Those kinds of things are very powerful tools. If they're at a below average, if they're sitting at low numbers, then that's a great way to target and say, listen, you know, maybe you need some more followers, but also, like we talked about earlier, questions. What are you looking to get out of your social media? Those are great ways for us to be able to find out, okay, you want followers? I'll go get you followers right now. You want likes and engagement? Okay, I'll go get you likes and engagement. But these are different ways that we set up these things to make sure that we are getting the definition of success that you're looking for. You know, you can go in there and look at their photos. Does it look kind of just half thrown together? It doesn't have a professional voice. Something that we excel in is we actually have branding packages that we put together for their social media management that allow us to say, all right, these are your main key colors. This is going to be looking like a little bit like your logo. This is going to be looking professional for you. Here's the font that we're always going to use to make sure that it's consistent throughout your page. Here's how we can make it look like a cohesive brand and a singular voice is coming out and talking to you that represents you and makes you unique. So there's so many different things that we can go over, but just a couple touch points. And then GBP, are they posting? You know, do they even know posts exist? You know, most people think that it's just a simple place for them to upload the picture of their front door and get some people to do some reviews, and then that's it. They set it up and they forget it. So are they getting the most out of their GBP? You know, do people want to engage with it? Are they uploading photos? Are they going and doing posts? Are they answering reviews? Very simple, easy things that anyone can take a look at and going, I don't think you're maximizing this to its efficiency, and I think you could be getting more business if you did. Let's go ahead and sit down and talk about it.
Right. So to paraphrase, if we're looking at the website, simplest level of understanding, say it in your words and terms and however is natural for your personalities to get this across. But, simplest level of understanding, are they doing it? Are they doing anything to capture data? Because that data can be used to convert. There you go.
Yeah.
Are they doing anything? And even if they are, is it being done well? Tell me about that. What kind of results are you getting from that? But that's what a website should be about. Gathering data and converting it. So there's your touch point. There's your bullet point. Social media. It's your image. How's your page even look? Who are you? Do you have enough followers? Or are you going after followers? Do they say that's what they want? Do you have engagement? So followers, engagement, and image. It seems to be the three kind of areas with social media. Followers, engagement, image. Do you look good? And do people engage with you? Do you have enough people doing that? So there you go. If not, again, remember what we said. My response every time. It's the entrepreneurial response.
We can fix it.
We can help you with that. Right. Well, how can you help me with that? By getting you on a webinar.
Always start with the first question is, did you build this website yourself? So that I'm not overly critical.
Right. Yeah. Well, and if you did, it's like, wow, this is
great.
Really
I think that we could help you take it to the next level.
Right,
if someone else did it, you go, I can't believe that they even charged you for this. How could they?
Yeah. Or you just look at it, it's like, did you go to school for this? No. Man, I would almost swear that you did. You're only missing a few things, but this is beautiful. The most beautiful piece of, anyways. And then the GBP, it's your three areas there: the posts, the photos, and the reviews. You can comment on those. Is there an active amount of photos going in? Are they doing posts at all? And if they are they treating it like social media, or are they feeding data into the algorithm for Google, right? And then reviews. Are they handling them the right way? And the right way is what? Either A, most people fall in three categories. They either don't respond, or they respond to everybody and they do the thank you, appreciate you, come back again. You did nothing, right? A lot of energy for nothing for yourself there, because you did nothing for the algorithm. Or they're, I'm going to play, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to respond to the bad, you want to cuss me out? Here you go. I'll respond to the bad one, right? Cool, great. You just guaranteed that everybody sees that review when they find your page. Good job there, because you're responding to nothing else. So, and that's an easy conversation to have. I don't have to understand. I don't have to be technical. I just have to understand people. I just have to understand people. That's a lot of anything we sell, advertise, all that. You have to understand people and what do they want. So this is a great, small, medium-sized businesses. Now, large businesses, we are going to talk about the myth versus the reality, right? So this is the big scary monster in the room, man. Holy cow. I have a meeting with a whale. You have no idea what this can do for me if I land this business. This is life-changing. I have to be so overly prepared, like it's the biggest test of my entire life. I have to know everything, Sean. Save me. I'm nervous as hell. The myth is you're going to have to be incredibly knowledgeable to even think about having this conversation. Nuh-uh. Wrong. Completely wrong. Here's the reality. You probably can even understand less. Because if I'm sitting with a marketing team, like if I'm sitting with Sean and maybe I'm trying to sell Encompass some marketing services, right? Sean's level of understanding, I don't need to come in as the expert. I can just tell him like, man, we do great at geofencing. He gets it. He gets it, man, probably better than me. He understands what we do. So we can talk about just other things, You can start the conversation the same way, ask the questions and get curious. You just need to understand how the platforms work a little bit, and how each service works a little bit, and if you understand those things, you can have a very easy conversation, because ultimately what we're selling now, because Sean understands everything we do, he understands how they all connect and what piece works where, because he's a big business, right? He's the marketing guy. He just has to believe that we can get him there better than anybody else. That's what I'm selling.
And
That's what I'm
they've done studies in the past as well, and they can find out that sometimes the more of an expert you are on the granular of how it works, the worse you are at selling it. Because if I came in there with a dictionary of how everything worked, I don't think he'd be signing up as much as the excitement that he gets from the people in his community like yourselves, who can show you have a passion, and all you have to do is just say, we get phenomenal results. This can work for your business, instead of making his eyes roll on the back of his head as you're sitting there hitting him with all the data points.
Right. Yeah, come try to sell to me and get real technical, man. I will speak up very vocally and ask you
Like,
to.
can you get out of my restaurant, please?
Right.
I
Well,
have things to do.
I'll tell you, I have long distance hearing, so I need you to get really far down the road here and right. It's like I need glasses for my ears or something. So understanding the products, if we need just some quick bullet points, right? And I think we've got a good understanding now, but here's the easy breakdown, right? Pay-per-click. This is kind of the
It's in the name.
This and Google Business Profile are kind of the unique ones in the bunch here, right? Because Google is such a giant. Everybody knows Google. So everybody knows Google Ads. Everybody's heard of it. They might not know the details, but they know the term Google Ads. That's what we need to understand about this. This is Google Ads. These are the things people click on that's going to convert. There's a simple level of understanding. I can say this to a business owner and they're going to get it. Yeah, you're right. The display and geofencing, here's the simplest way to say it. These are the ads that pop up on all the apps and websites that you go on. You know, like ESPN and Fox and CNN and all these other apps and websites. People get that. So then they go, oh, okay, that's how that happens? Yeah. Now, come find out the details. CTV and OTT? Well, hey, man, these are commercials, but it's just the ones on the streaming apps. You know, Hulu, Peacock, you know, all these. That's what that is. Oh, my God, y'all do that? Absolutely. We can advertise. I don't have to know the technicalities of it. I just need to know my impression minimums that I can sell. Yeah, we can get you at least 25,000 plays. There we go. Take it and run. Pre-roll, it's kind of like YouTube, but everywhere that's not YouTube, anytime you see a video playing on a website and you see the ads that play before those videos, that's pre-roll video.
That's the best explanation I've heard of it so far. It's YouTube, but everywhere else. And immediately I'm like, oh, okay.
Bingo. And then we get to YouTube. YouTube's kind of another unique one. It's everybody understands it already. It's just videos on a platform, right? Here's the kicker with this one. Dude, Google owns YouTube. So if you don't think that the number one search engine, the number one giant for how people find stuff is going to give massive credibility to YouTube, YouTube's become one of the largest search engines in the world just because of that. You need to be there just as much as you need to be on Google. Well, I get that. Streaming audio, so the commercials on all the, you know, Spotify, all the podcast stuff people listen to. Okay, I understand that. If that's all I got to do for an explanation, you'll get that. Social media advertising. Again, you get that. You know, it's probably the most common thing you see on Facebook these days. You know, ad, sponsored, boosted. Hey, there's somebody telling me what they had for dinner. Cool, right? And then social media management. Again, you know, it's Facebook, it's LinkedIn. It's making sure you look good. It's making sure that your business has the right image. That's all I got to understand. That's all people understand. So that's all we need to really do to relate to them. Whether it's large businesses, small businesses. Large businesses, you're talking results. Small businesses, you're talking results and building on both ends belief, you know, that we can get you there. That's all it is. It's that. It really can be this simple. So from here, they just want to know that you can target who they want and convert the results they need. That's the end game of what we sell. It's not this, you know, super technical thing of no. We're selling you the fact that we can get you in front of the people you're looking for and convert them. We have a path to do that. Come find out more. And then pull up the knowledge base and ask them which webinar slot they're available for. You know, the way I usually get into this is very assumptive. It's like I said earlier, I'm not going to ask if you can get on a webinar. I'm not going to ask if you can. If I have gauged that you are interested enough, you're agreeing with me like, yeah, cool, man. You know, you guys can do that. You know, I'm getting this type of positive response. Absolutely. I tell you what we need to do next. Here's what we got to do next, man. We got to get you on a webinar. We have them available on Tuesday. We have them available on Thursday. We have a 3 o'clock and a 5 o'clock on both days. Which one can you do? Right? And then on the webinar, it's very simple. Mark's going to razzle dazzle these people. They're going to be blown away. Holy crap, this is great. And then all you have to do at the end of the webinar is say, did you have any other questions about how we do this? Nope. Great. Here's all we need to do to get started. And if you just like you're literally, that's how you transition into the close. Here's all we have to do to get started. We're going to need this. We're going to need this. And Mark's great too, because Mark will recognize exactly what's happening. Yeah, man, we're going to need access to your Google business page. I just sent you this. If you can, accept that, blah, 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 whatever it is, we can get the ball rolling right there. And I'm just going to need those credit card numbers. Right? It's that simple. So we have a few minutes here. I'm actually impressed that Sean, you and I only spoke until like 16 after. I was thinking it was going to be like 7:30, 7:45 before we shut up, right? So,
I've got more to say. If we've got more time, I'll be happy to keep talking if you need me to.
Oh no, go on. Here's something. No, if you have anything else to interject, please do.
Sure. I mean, earlier I wanted us to get through the time here as well, but I love hearing from different people on how they were able to get those appointments set. Aria, are you still in this chat somewhere in here? Aria, did she leave us? Oh no, did we lose her?
See her.
I should have interjected earlier.
Yeah. Well, no? Aria, if you come back to us, let us know.
Yeah, because she did a great job landing a geofencing client. There you are, Aria. We got you back. So congratulations on your geofencing sale.